Hi, here I am in Aotearoa, I think that's how it's pronounced. I think it stands for Land of the Great White Sheep. So this is going to be the video for this week, but there should be another one coming up next week with actual mini painting in it. Yay!
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Well, that was the plan, anyway. I recorded this in Picton, in New Zealand's South Island on New Year's Day, with every intention of uploading a video about the places I visited and the game shops I went to, and then I got the flu. As I get older and more decrepit, diseases that would be minor inconveniences become more and more debilitating. This one left me pretty much bedbound for a week, and it's taken until now for me to feel up to painting and filming. Hopefully I'll be back to my once per week schedule after this. So rather than a travelogue, I want to talk about a comment I got from a viewer about my Judge Anderson video. Basically, this guy decided to tell me my method was terrible and my mini looked like shit. I went looking for the comment again so I could quote it exactly, but it seems to have disappeared, which is a shame because I had no qualms about leaving it there. Why? Because it's a fair assessment. I've been doing this for 6 months, so I've got a long way to go compared to most of the people I see on Instagram and YouTube. It comes down to what I'm aiming for here, and that's what I decided I really wanted to talk about. This time I'm going to be painting a mini from Osprey Games' Judge Dredd Helter Skelter. I prepared it with my usual prime zenithal scumbling method, and I'll be slapping some Army Painter speed paint on it until I'm happy. I've got some links to some of the products I used in the description below. These are Amazon affiliate links, so if you buy stuff using them it won't cost you any more, but I'll get a small commission. Thanks. Oh, and by the way, I'm not sponsored by anyone. I purchased all of this stuff with my own money, and I use it because I like it. If I don't like something, I go looking for something else that I do. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe. It really helps with the algorithm. So, why I paint? I decided to start painting again in August and proceeded to watch every YouTube video I could get my eyes on. I watched Lila Mev, Ninjon, Vince Venturella, Squidmar, Tabletop Minions, Goober Town Hobbies, Discourse Minis, Wii Wargame and many, many more. I love the work of many of these YouTubers, and I also love the passion that they displayed when talking about the hobby. But I'm well aware of what a high bar they have set when it comes to the quality of their finished products. Would I like to be able to paint that well? Of course. Will I ever be able to? Probably not. This is just reality. What I decided was I'm never going to be great, and possibly never even going to be good, but I can certainly be good enough. What does this mean? Really simple. I can take a piece of sculpted grey plastic and make it look good enough with a bit of paint and a bit of patience. And after a while I thought, I want to share my enthusiasm just like these other guys on YouTube, and just maybe pass on some advice and inspiration to others out there about being good enough. So here we are. Is my painting method terrible? Maybe, but it works for me. Do my minis look like shit? If you get close enough, sure. But from half a metre or so away, on a gaming table, I think they look pretty good, and about 1,000% better than grey plastic. As good as something from Lila Mev or Ninjon? Not even close. But I don't expect to be, and neither should a lot of people. These guys are amazing, but they're also aiming at a different target. They paint display quality miniatures, while I paint tabletop quality miniatures. The difference, both in techniques and final product, is enormous. Discourse Minis made a video about painting badly, which I found both incredibly funny and useful. There's a link in my other creators playlist to this video, amongst others, which you can check out if you like. The basic premise she proposes is pretty much what I believe. Good enough is good enough. Not only do I not have to be great, but I don't even want to be great. I just want to take a mini, have a good look at it, pick up some colours and splosh them on there until it looks okay. If I can produce a serviceable paint job in 30 minutes, where the mini looks like a reasonably realistic little person from a distance, then I'm really, really happy. And that's what this is about. I paint minis because I enjoy it. I like the process. Putting the minis together from their component parts, which can be a bit daunting at times, and not my favourite part of the process. The decision making that goes into choosing a colour scheme. The painting itself, a combination of focus and inspiration, the careful application of precise details, and the slapping on of let's see how this looks speed paint. The learning, how paint works, how it flows from the brush, fluid dynamics, how much to use, how best to apply it, what doesn't work. All the little things you learn as you go along, which makes your next mini look better than your last one. The zen quality of good enough is good enough. It doesn't have to be perfect. And most of all, I really like the end product. 40 years ago, when I first painted minis, I would spend hours and hours painting something which would look pretty damned average when I was done. I knew nothing about volumetric lighting or shading or even thinning the paint. I didn't even use acrylics, I used enamels because that's what I knew. But I still preferred my painted minis to plain metal. Always. The options now, both in products and in education opportunities, make an incredible difference to what even the most average of mini painters is capable of achieving. For a long time there I collected pre-painted minis and thought they were good enough. But now, even with only 6 months of experience, I can produce painted minis that look way better. So much so that I've been considering repainting all those pre-painted minis, or at least applying a wash or something, so they'll look even halfway decent. No doubt in 6 more months I'll be looking back at the minis I'm painting now and thinking, geez, they look like shit. And that also is part of the hobby. What's good enough now may, or may not, be good enough in the future. But either way, I've had the satisfaction of painting the figure to a reasonable standard and plonking it on a gaming table with the pride of a job well done. So who am I competing against? Who am I trying to impress? I'm trying to beat past me. And so far I'm achieving that. I'm not competing against the likes of Squidmar or Roman the Pat. I'm not trying to get a golden demon. I'm trying to produce works that I can be proud of. And I'm trying to learn enough as I go that in 6 months' time, or a year, or whenever, I'll be able to look at what I'm doing and still be happy with the results. I still watch videos by amazing painters and I still listen when they give advice. How else am I going to improve? I still look at minis on Instagram and think, wow, that is amazing. What I don't do is say to myself, wow, they're just amazing and I'll never be as good as them, so why bother at all? Because it's not about that. It's about I'm enjoying the process and I'm enjoying the result. What more could you ask for from a hobby? So my reaction when I get negative feedback, when someone says my mini looks like shit, my reaction is to laugh. Because of course, to many people, I'm sure they do look like shit. We are surrounded day in and day out by the most amazing painted minis anyone has ever seen. How can anyone with 6 months practice compete with that? Of course I can't, and I don't try to. My entire purpose here is to show that no matter how much experience you have, no matter how much less amazing your minis look compared to what you see on Instagram or YouTube, you can still enjoy painting them, and you can still gain great satisfaction from the result. You don't have to be perfect, because even those amazing minis you see are still not perfect, and they never will be. Are they better? Yeah, they probably are, from a strictly objective viewpoint. I mean, how can I pretend that my 30-minute paint job is as good as someone's 30-hour or 300-hour paint job? Especially if that someone has been painting for 20 years. It's just ridiculous to hold myself to that standard because it's completely unrealistic. The standard I can hold myself to is, does this look okay? Am I proud of the result? Does it look all right on the table where it belongs? If my answer is yes to any of these questions, then my work here is done. Could I do better? Hell yes, of course I could. But I also have to be realistic in the targets I set for myself. Check out some of the 30-minute versus 30 hours comparison videos out there, where professional painters like Zumikito paint the same figures in different ways and to different standards. Does a mini that took 60 times as long look better? Sure, but does it look 60 times better? And probably even more important, would I enjoy spending 30 hours on one mini? No, I would not. It's not how I paint, and it delays the satisfaction for way too long. For me, maybe not for you. And that's cool too, because you be you is rule number 1. If you're having fun painting layers or wet blending or adding texture or glazing or whatever else you're doing which takes ages and ends up with a result which is amazing, then that is absolutely great. Seriously, that's the whole point after all. Enjoy the process and enjoy the result. But the one thing I've realised absolutely in the last 6 months is that that's not for me. My brain simply doesn't work that way. I like my speed paint, my slap chop, my dry brushing. I think what I end up with is just fine. Amazing, no, but fine. And that's good enough for me. As always, thanks for watching. Please don't forget to hit the like button, share with friends, and subscribe for more. Catch you next time.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.